Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Endzone 2. You join us in Diamond City. Now in Diamond City, we have a lot of people, and as a result, we're going to need to put in some things that is going to keep them happy, but also improve their health. For some reason, the Monument to Agriculture does that. So we're going to put the Monument to Agriculture right here. Now that boosts the health of all of our settlers, which actually helps to combat some of the effects of things like the coffee shop, which does decrease health, and the beer, which also decreases health. So we're going to build that. What do we need? We need 20 bricks, which is no problem. Today we're going to focus on setting up some reliable trade routes. So we're going to grab the bricks that we need, and we are going to send them to Diamond City. My aim here is to start creating some bulk haulage that moves resources around or funnels resources to Diamond City. Now, these actually need to happen quite slowly because we want our settlements to be able to recover any resources that they've lost. So we're probably going to be using something like the Titan for this, which means we're going to need to build some more Titans. The other alternative is to use our nomads. We do have plenty of them available, but my hesitation on that comes from the fact that I then don't have anything if we get into any combat or if I need something in emergencies. So we need to make sure. So we've got the decontaminator here, which actually isn't doing anything because I have no decontamination kits right now. But my vision is we build some Titans, and the Titans are the vehicles that I use when I'm going to go and trade with Ole Sorensen, so we can fill them up with the cannabis and then get that sorted. If we just have a quick look over here at Boundington, you can see that the scrapyard has done its job quite well. It is removing quite a bit of scrap, and we are able to just carry on with stuff, get that done, bring down the levels of scrap in the areas, and carry on with the job in hand. So if I have a quick look here before we move on, we're just going to make sure that all of our scrapyards have people working in them and they are all gathering enough scrap. That can then just carry on as it is. Last Refuge, of course, we established last time, and it has one scrapyard currently with nobody working in it, but they are now going to work and they're going to demolish all of the stuff that's in there. We can then finish these settlements off at another time. But now that most of my other settlements, including Rustwood, are up and running, they just need resources. Rustwood is one of the ones that needs coal, because we don't have a lot of room for production. The footprint is pretty low, and if I put more people working in these charcoal kilns, you'll see our wood starts to drop down, and we still aren't making enough coal to cope with any issues. So even if I was to then put more people into this woodcutting lodge, our wood comes back, but our coal is still decreasing. That also means I don't know if we'd be able to cope with any further issues when it comes to foresting and deforestation, which will be a massive problem. So we're going to start by getting rid of all of our current transport routes. We're going to pool all of our vehicles back so that they're idle, and we are going to start afresh today. So there's going to be a bit of micromanagement and stuff going on here, but it is very necessary. So for some reason, we've got buggies and stuff going all over the place. What I want to do is I'm going to bring them all back to Diamond City. We're then going to delete all of our trade routes. We're going to start by doing that. All of our transportation routes are going. Then we will set up brand new ones. So what will happen is each settlement that I have is going to send goods to Diamond City. So now we should have loads of idle vehicles, and we can start by removing anything from them that we don't need. Have I dumped everything from these ones? Got some water there that we can get rid of. Not that much though. So we'll pool all of these vehicles together and we'll send them all to Diamond City. Do I have any other idle vehicles? We've got the mule here. That's on its way. Got a nomad down here. So we'll send that in. This vehicle's stopped doing whatever it's doing. Got one here. One here. This is the food vehicle. So that might be problematic because Rustwood does suffer with a lack of food, and we need to sort that out pretty quickly. So let's just bring everything back, including this lot, who are kind of stood here doing nothing. We have an insane number of vehicles here, but most of them are going to be used. So I think that covers everything. Everybody is making their way to Diamond City now. Convoy to end all convoys, apart from the Pioneer, which we're going to leave here. We've got a buggy there as well. So to begin with, we will set up our first route, and it is going to take, it's going to be a new transport route. It's going to take stuff from this resource mine, which was an Endzone, and it is going to take the maximum amount of food that we can possibly fit in, and it's going to drop it off at Rustwood. That's the only area that is struggling right now for food. So if we just have a look over here, you can see we're producing plenty of food, or enough food in Boundington and enough in Last Refuge. Rather, Last Refuge does have some issues with corpses, so we're going to very quickly build a graveyard and get people working in that as soon as possible, because that will very quickly lead to disease and all sorts of negative things which we really don't want. So I'm going to put a temporary graveyard there, get it built, speed that up a second. Come on. Got to be very careful here because the food stores, I mean, there's enough there, so that's fine for now. Right, we'll put 3 people to work in that graveyard, and then we should now have all of our vehicles pooled up here. Having an absolute nightmare trying to get stuff moved around. So this buggy here, we're going to rename it. We are going to rename that the easy to, what is this city called again? Rustwood. We're going to change the name of this one. We are going to call it, we'll call it Mifflin. It's a paper producing settlement. Why not? We'll call it Mifflin, and we will make it, we'll go with that. Mifflin now has, no, that's the Diamond City colour. We can't have that. We'll go with a very, let's go with just a lighter blue, or this greeny blue. That's nice, almost swampy. Right, so Mifflin is now up and running. Now we need to find that vehicle again, this one here. So we'll call it easy to Mifflin. Right, and then we'll go to our transport routes. We are going to name this transport route now, and we'll call it easy Mifflin food. Then we know we've got a vehicle somewhere called easy to Mifflin. At least I hope we do. There it is. That's the one we want. So we'll select that vehicle, assign it, and that is our first new transport route sorted. So the easy to Mifflin will start going, and then we need a new one which will take food from Diamond City. But it does look like just using the Endzone will be enough. Right, the Nihilists are coming, so we're going to bribe them with some glass. That's fine. We've got far too much to be doing for that. Then we want to have a look at Crimson Canyon. What is Crimson Canyon overproducing? So if we have a quick look, we know they are producing a lot of rubber gloves, a lot of activated carbon masks, and bricks. And bricks are going to be very useful, as well as normal tools, but coal will also be good to have. What they aren't producing is any plastic. I think that's because I don't have a recycler. I don't. Right, so where are my scrapyards? I've got a scrapyard down here, so we'll put plastic in here. Get that built, and then they can just produce gradually their own plastic, which starts us off quite well. Now we know that they are producing loads of carbon and rubber gloves, so we can deliver those to our new settlement. Well, we can deliver those to the Jewel of the Commonwealth, Diamond City. So that's going to be our first step. bricks, rubber gloves, activated carbon masks. And that is perfect. Right, so transport route. We are going to have a new transport route, and this is going to be Crimson Canyon. We'll call it CC to DC. We'll go that, we'll go that. We will load up what we want to load in. Are they producing beer as well? I think they might be. So we'll put the beer in. We'll also put in activated carbon masks and rubber gloves and bricks. And then it all gets unloaded at Diamond City. We'll accept that. We'll close it down a second just so I can double check that they are producing beer. They do. They produce 2.3 per minute. Now what we need to do is we need to assign a nomad to that route. So I'll come back over to here. I'll grab this nomad here and I'll just drop off whatever it's got in here at the moment. We'll destroy those activated carbon masks just to free up the space. Then we'll change this nomad's name to DC Deliveries. Then we'll go back into our transport routes, edit this one, load on the nomad called CC Deliveries, and that will now go, and it will pick up what it needs from Crimson Canyon. And if we just let it do it once, we can then adjust accordingly. Then, over in Medici, we have some pretty severe radiation issues going on. So before I do anything, I'm going to drive up to here and to here. And we're going to grab a stack of activated carbon masks and a stack of rubber gloves. Then we are going to go and drop those off at Medici, because we know they don't produce any. What they do produce is paper and coal from the coal mine. But we are probably going to need that, I think, because the restored iodine mine, which they need iron tools for, we've also got the coal mine there. What do we need the coal mine for? Do we actually have a decontamination lab here? Yes, we do. Coal and iodine. Right, okay. So, to do that, we are going to need to provide iron tools to Medici. We know Medici needs iron tools, but we can't do that right now because we want to get the import sorted first. So we'll move this nomad up and dump the scrap, and it can dump those 2 weapons. Then we know Medici overproduces a number of goods, including pharmaceuticals. It doesn't overproduce bricks because they come from transport routes. So we need to do a new one, transport route. And this one will be Medici to Diamond City. And we will call this one Med to DC. Then we are going to edit the transport route. We know we want them to dump in medicine. That's the one thing they are overproducing. We know they also have decontamination kits. As we're not producing any now, it doesn't help us, but we'll put them in anyway. We also know that they are producing herbs, but we don't really need to get rid of them. We want to keep them stocked up. We know they're producing paper though, so we can put all of them in, and then we'll unload them. There. Accept that. Close this down a second. We'll go back to here, and we'll just change this one. What do we call the other one? CC Deliveries. So this one will be Med Deliveries. Excellent. Right, then we go back into our transport routes, edit it, And again, we need to assign a nomad called Med Deliveries with that job, and it will go grab the stuff from there and take it around. We also know Newtown overproduces one heck of a lot of stuff. So we are going to have another nomad here. This one. We'll again demolish or destroy the tools that it's got. And then we need to go to here. Now we know Newtown overproduces a lot. Apparently we are producing medicine at a pharmaceutical laboratory, even though I don't know. Do we actually have one here? So let's take a look. We do. And they get herbs from transport routes. But right now, that pharmaceutical laboratory, yeah, we need herbs for that. So they do take an income from herbs, which means we can actually adjust. We just drop these off because they do need them. So if we adjust and sort out a new transport route here, or sort out this one, we can then edit that and add in herbs here. And we want them to just take like 50 herbs. We don't want to overload again. And those herbs will go to Diamond City. So I'm going to play around with this for a little bit. I'm going to jump ahead so that everything is finished. We're going to do deep dive, and I'm going to make sure that everything's sorted so that Diamond City becomes this massive hub. I'll see you in a few minutes or hours, however long it takes me to do this, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more. See you in a bit. Okay, we're back, and I've done quite a lot, so we'll just have a look at our transport routes. You can see there's quite a few up here. They're named, and all of the vehicles that are running on them are named as well, but like basically we've got like deliveries coming from each settlement going into Diamond City, and then there are new ones here that don't have, they're not quite filled out yet, but they will then redistribute all of this material around different settlements. Problem is, I've done more than 9, and my achievement tracker is only showing that I've completed and created 9 transport routes, which is quite, you know, it's a bit frustrating, but never mind. Hopefully we'll get some more coming in. Now these two here, they're not actually transporting anything at this moment in time, but what I am going to do is make sure that the vehicles are assigned to them. I do have one that's just been completed, this Nomad here, and that is from Last Resort, I think it's called, to DC, Last Refuge. So the vehicle will kind of move off on its own and start doing that route now, even though it's not going to be carrying anything. And we need to give this a brand new name. So it's LR Distribution, I think it is. It might be deliveries. I can't remember. I think it's deliveries. Yes, it is deliveries. Let's just change that. Great. Okay, so we now have all of these done, and we have a distribution chain that is going on. You can see all of these white dots moving around, and they all do have a meaning. But here I've got difficult transport routes, which means they're not quite configured yet. So we're going to change that. So we've got a few things coming on. If we have a look at Diamond City here, you can see lots of stock coming in. We're getting decontamination kits coming in as well from Medici, and they are still able to produce their own, which is brilliant. And then they're slowly building up a store of iron tools, which means they can continue using the restored iodine mine to bring in some extra profit for us, which is brilliant. If I just have a look at the stores of iodine here, we could afford maybe to drop down the people working in there. I guess not. We are still producing iodine, so that is good. If we pull people out of that so that the tools don't drop down, that might help us out. We bring this all the way down there. Now the tools are going up, but the iodine is going down. So there's nothing we can do about that. We just kind of have to, if we can bring that to its, yeah, so now we're making an income off it, which is good, but we are only losing 0.9 iron tools per minute. So I'm content to leave that as it is because I'm still able to produce enough decontamination kits to do all of the stuff that I need to do. Now, normal tools, basic tools here are dropping a little bit. So we're going to just adjust that by going to our DC to, where is it, Medici. We'll edit that transport route. We will add in, they only need a few really, so shouldn't need that many, so we can put 10 in there and then accept that. There we go, that's done. So the problems with my newest settlements here are a lack of tools. So we are going to pause a second because now that they've run out of tools, they're not going to be able to get any fish. The same is here. Last Refuge is running out, and Mifflin has a trade route set up, so they are able to get their tools. Also, actually, Mifflin, if I have a look at the DC to Mifflin run, they aren't actually importing tools, they're making their own, so that's fine. So we need to go to the DC to Wildlands route. We are going to edit that route. We are going to add in 50 units of basic tools to top them up. Good. Right, that goes in. That's done. We're also going to give them some radiation protection because they aren't producing their own. So we'll put them in as well. And we're also going to give them some decontamination kits. We're only going to give them 10. That's done. And then we'll make sure we unload everything. They're also going to want some pharmaceuticals. Now, eventually we're going to produce our own here, so it's not too much of an issue. We are still waiting for like scrap and stuff to clear here, so it's that's why it's taken a while, I think. We just head on over to Wildlands there. You can see the scrapyard is still able to get some scrap, but we're going to clear that out. They've still got this area here that isn't quite done. And the main issue is that they have run out of storage space. We are stocked up fully on scrap here, so they can't actually produce any more unless we start turning it into plastic. So that's what we're going to do. We'll build a new scrapyard here, and then we will start converting that into what we need it to be. Unfortunately, because we don't have tools here yet, Wildlands is just hopefully going to receive some very soon. And then we need the, where is it, Last Refuge. They are getting food, medicine, and radiation protection, but we are going to add in an extra one of scrap tools when we find them. There we are. And load all of them in as well. So that's a decent stretch. They also could do with decontamination kits, so we'll put that on the map as well. And again, we're only going to give them 10. Perfect. Right. So we're getting plenty of decontamination kits being made. We are stocking up very nicely. Make 9 per run. They're 10. We do have some issues here. So the recycling center here, it needs some iron. And I think we've got a bit of iron in there. Actually, yes, I did. I loaded this car up, so we're going to go and take that over here. And this is the sort of stuff that we're not going to use a trade route for. The kind of menial tasks that we need to kind of finish everything off is fine. We're currently on a deficit of our decontamination kits, but there's not a lot we can do right now with regards to that. We do have the ability, I think, here to get some iodine mines, but again, they require iron tools. So you can see where the bottlenecks start to happen here. So what we need is to make sure that we're able to get some iron tools. Now we know in Rusty Rolf, he sells us iron tools, so we can buy them and bring them back. Now, we are going to try and do one more thing here. So we're going to grab a buggy here. We are going to just bring in some naughty plants. And then we are going to head down to our friend, Old T-Barrer. Now, what we want to do here is try and have her randomize the things that she's got. And we want a weapon. Currently, we're making quite a bit, we've got iron coming in, we've got lead. The lead we're not really using for anything, so we are kind of distributing it. That is coming back here to Diamond City. The iron stores there aren't too good, but we're looking all right. They are starting to bring in lead now. We've got 100 lead there, and that will just continue to increase. We're going to enter this trading post. We're going to randomize. No weapon there. And again, no weapon. No weapon. It might be in a special offer. I think it was probably in a special offer. But she is now giving us iodine, which is useful, and medicine. So I think that's good. We're going to take the task. Yes, okay. Then we are going to drop this off. Or we're going to locate it over here, I guess. Lizzie Rasmus is on her way. Well, that's fine. Not really an issue. She's only got one vehicle that she's sending out to us. But the trade routes are now pretty much set up. It's just a case of managing what I am and what I am trading, what I'm not trading. So once that's done, actually, we'll be in a very good place. We're currently being chased. That's not good. Let's try and get away. Yeah, we're safe. They'll continue coming along and trying to chase us down, but they will inevitably run into another vehicle there. These vehicles aren't armed, actually. We need to do that. Yes, we'll finish the job. And then we'll just move out of the way here. Get some repairs in. Then we'll come back out and finish this one. Nice and easy. Loot that wreck. Take this off it. And then hopefully, if we enter the trading post now, go to special offers. Damn. Okay. So that doesn't work. Can I refresh that again? No. And now we've lost some pretty good trades there, unfortunately. Okay, let's enter the trading post again, though, and see what she can give us. Yeah, nothing really good there. I think we probably needed to adjust that and get a weapon instead, which is a shame. Right, let's go to Ole Sorensen and see if we can refresh any of his special items, because I assume the special item that, you know, I reckon the special item is actually a weapon, so we need to rotate through that rather than other stuff. So we're going to go over to another settlement here. You can see they're making a nice income of everything apart from tools, but that will change. We can drop off this iron, and those things will get repaired very soon, which means the upgraded workshop can get back to producing the iron tools, so we probably don't need that in the trade anymore. Over here, right, Crimson Canyon needs paper, medicine, but not carbon masks and rubber gloves because they produce their own. So if we go to our Crimson Canyon, our DC to Crimson Canyon route, we edit the transport route again. We are going to load up from DC. We're going to load medicine. We're going to load 10 medicine, and then we'll unload it there. We're also going to load up paper, and we're going to load up 20 units of paper and unload it. We already have a vehicle assigned to it, so they will start immediately going on that route. Let's have a look then. Will you give me a weapon? Okay, he doesn't have any more special offers available, but I don't want to rotate through this in case I lose the decontamination kit, so we're going to leave that as it is. Okay, so he doesn't have a weapon. Now, do you have anything if I rotate through? Can I buy a weapon from you? Or is the weapon actually just something that's going to spawn at random in these sort of things? Before I lose out, I'm going to just bring this buggy down and we're going to loot the wreck down here. But now we should see a rise in paper starting to happen and medicine. One other thing we should have done actually is change. We go to here and we edit that transport route. Decontamination kits need to be added to this. So we'll put 10 decontamination kits in there and unload, and that will allow us to decontaminate the area and have a nice even distribution of those coming in. So currently over here in Medici, we don't need decontamination kits. They're able to produce their own and actually feed a few into DC. There are 274 there, but we do lose some. We lose quite a few every minute. And over here, Newtown, we now need to add in medicine and paper from the DC to Newtown route. So that is a sand one. And where is it? Newtown. Edit that transport route. We are going to load up once again. We're loading in medicine. We'll load in 20 because it's quite a populated area. We're also going to load in decontamination kits. We'll load in 15 of those. So this is why it's going to be key for us to make sure that we are always in a positive trade with our weed. Because the more of that we sell, the easier it's going to be for us to get the materials that we actually need to decontaminate stuff. And they also need paper. And again, I'll give them 20 paper, but that might change. And then that trade route is now set up. And we just need to manage all of the stuff that they've got. So when these things come in, I've adjusted the toolbars here. This is kind of like my basic toolbar setup now. So what I want is to have a record of all of the radiation protection we've got, and then anything that I need to top up, I want along the top. So things like lead and steel are used to repair buildings when you have a dust storm, so we need those in. I need to keep an eye on them. Everything else, all of the basic materials, I'm producing more than enough of now, so actually we're fine on that. So Riverview is an interesting one. What do they need? We know they need activated carbon masks. They're producing their own rubber gloves. or they're able to get rubber gloves somehow from a transport route, even though I wonder, let's have a quick look at Riverview here. I've not allowed them to use rubber gloves. So they need rubber gloves and the other stuff, whatever it is, activated carbon masks. So again, edit the transport route, load in carbon masks, load in rubber gloves, load in medicine, or are they producing their own? Well, we know we need decontamination kits, so again, we'll put in 10 of those. Unload all of them for now. Now, let's have a quick look. They are producing their own medicine, so we don't need the medicine. And if we just compare to our other transport routes that are going from DC out, I think that's all they need, because they don't require medicine. They don't require paper because they produce their own. And they produce a lot of paper. So that one is now set up, and it's basically a case of doing this for every single settlement. Now, before I leave you for the day, let's have a look and see if he's got any other special offers. It's just a knowledge point, which we don't actually need. So we'll just have to leave it. But before I do, I will trade these in and we'll grab some iron, because that is always useful. And we'll just make sure we're topped up. And then we'll take that iron back to Diamond City. And then I'll leave it there. So I'm going to make sure that all my trade routes are fleshed out. We're going to do a soft reset of the game just in case those achievements don't update properly. But you can see here at Diamond City, we are now losing rubber gloves and activated carbon masks. So we need to make sure that we keep that stocked up, which means places like Iron Wall can send that in. So if we go to our Iron Wall DC trade route, we can edit that and load up activated carbon masks and rubber gloves. And then that then gets distributed to the other settlements. See? So it's working. It's planning really nicely. And all we've got left to do is finish our final 3 settlements. Well, 2 settlements, really. And we will have completed it, hopefully getting the achievements. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.